Hey there, friends. You came back. I'm so glad to see you again. My name is Miss Rhonda, if you forgot, and I'm going to be reading your Bible story again this week. How exciting is this, huh? This story tonight is a good one. This one has to do with being able to be strong and pick up heavy things. Are you strong? Let me see those muscles out there. Show me your muscles. I see some muscles out there. Very good. You guys are some strong people. So this one does have to do with some heavy lifting, and it has to do with a big hole, and it has to do with Jesus, and it has to do with a crowd. And I don't need to ruin the story. I just probably need to get on with it, right? Well, the first thing I want to remind you of is that word compassion. We talked about compassion a little bit last week, but in the story tonight, I want to remind you about that word compassion. That word compassion means that I see your hurt. I see somehow you're hurt. Either you have a boo-boo, or somebody hurt your heart, or somebody hurt your feelings, or said something ugly and they upset you. So compassion means I see that you're hurt. And with you, I feel that hurt. Sometimes when I see somebody sad and they're crying, it makes me want to cry with them sometimes, because I feel that hurt with them, and that's being compassionate. So I see your hurt and I feel that hurt with you, and I'm going to work to try to help you ease that hurt. I'm going to work and try to help you make that hurt go away. That's what compassion is. That's that big word, compassion. So tonight's story is about a group of friends who are going to help another friend to go see Jesus. Wow, that's a special thing, to have Jesus come to your town. And that's what's happened in this story. Jesus comes to their town, their village, and everybody wants to see him because they've been hearing all the stories about the wonderful things Jesus does. Like he heals the sick and he feeds people, just all the different things that he does, and everybody wants to go see him. So there is this man, and he's what we call paralyzed. That's a big word. Can you say paralyzed? Yeah. Paralyzed means he can't feel his legs, so he can't walk. So you got all these crowds of people running to go see Jesus, and he can't do it. So he can't run. How's he going to get to see Jesus? What are his friends going to do to help him see Jesus? Because if he sees Jesus, Jesus just might heal his hurt and make him able to walk again. How do you think they're going to do that? I don't know. I'll put on my reading glasses and we're going to find out. Are you ready? So one day, Jesus visited someone's home. He came to their village and their town, and he visited somebody's home. Everyone in the town heard he was there. Everybody heard. You know how it is. If the circus comes to town, which I know it doesn't anymore, that probably wasn't a good example, but if the circus comes to town, everybody will be talking about it. Or the fair. The fair's here. It's time for the fair. The fair. The fair. You know how people talk about it. So that's what they did. They talked about Jesus coming to town, and everybody heard he was there. So guess what? Everybody wanted to see him. They were so excited. They were so excited to see him because they heard that he had healed a lot of sick people. He had been all over the place healing sick people and making them feel better so they could become part of his community, of their community, I'm sorry. Because when you're sick, you just can't be part. You have to be laying down and resting. But when you're better, you can become part of the community again. And that's what Jesus was doing. A friend who was paralyzed, remember, he can't feel his legs, he can't walk. He asked his friends to take him to see Jesus. So, when the group got there, it was so crowded. So crowded. They might have carried him, or he might have had a crutch kind of thing, or they might have put him on a wagon. I don't know how they got him there. But when they got him there, it was so crowded. There was no way to get to Jesus through all the people. You know what a crowd's like. And you got people all around you, and you can't get through, and yeah, that's what it was like, because everybody wanted to see Jesus. So the crowd, they couldn't get through the crowd, but they had an idea. Remember just a few minutes ago, I told you there was going to be a big hole in this story? this is where it happens, okay? They had an idea. They climbed up onto the roof of the house and they made a hole in the roof. They made a hole in the roof of the house. Now, mind you, houses back in those days are not like your house is now. It's not like it is now. So cutting a hole in the roof of these houses was a little bit easier than it would be in your house. So anyway, there's where the hole comes from. They cut a hole in the roof of the house right above where Jesus was. Right up there. If I was Jesus, it'd be right there. A big old hole. Jesus probably went, what in the world are they doing? Then he figured it out. They cut the hole right where Jesus was. They lowered their friend into the room. He was laying on a mat, like a bed, almost like a mattress. And they took it and they lowered him down. All of the friends held on to him and they just let him down in that hole. They didn't drop him. They lowered him down slowly into the room. When Jesus saw their faith, he was encouraged. He thought, wow, they would do anything to get their friend here. He told their friend, I see you and I love you. You are made whole for your community and your sins are forgiven. Wow. Jesus is pretty awesome. Very awesome. Some of the temple leaders, they were called scribes. They were watching Jesus. And when they heard him say this to the friend that was paralyzed, they became angry. They were not happy. They thought to themselves, who does Jesus think he is? Only God can say these things. Jesus could tell that the scribes disagreed with him. So he said to them, I know what you're thinking. Who, us? The scribes were like, what? Who? Me? Jesus said, I know what you're thinking right now. But what's easier? To say, I see you and I love you? Or to say to him, get up and walk? I'll show you that it's possible to do both. With compassion, there's that word again. With compassion, Jesus turned to the friend who was paralyzed and said, get up, pick up your mat, and go home. You're healed now. Now let's think about that. They put him on a mat. They lowered him through the roof of the house. He can't walk, remember. And then Jesus tells him to pick up his mat and go home because he's healed. He stood up and he was amazed. He was amazed. He picked up his mat and he went home with his friends. Everyone was so happy. They praised God because they had never seen anything like that before. So this man that was paralyzed and couldn't walk, he could walk again. He could walk again. Wow. Wow. That's a good story. So guess what? We might think we only need to be brave for big and scary things, don't we? Like if something's scary, if you have to go to the doctor and get a shot. I don't like getting shots. I don't like it. I have to be brave when I go do that, right? You have to be brave. Or if there is a big sliding board and you want to go down it so bad, but you're so scared and you get to the top and you're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. You have to be brave, right? We might think that being brave is only for superheroes. Not just superheroes, but whether it's for a friend or stranger, a family member or a neighbor, or even for ourselves, compassion helps us to be brave. Wow. Compassion helps us to be brave. Sometimes being brave means being like the friends by showing up for someone, helping carry their burdens, helping them get to where they need to be, and standing with them. Sometimes that is being brave. When you do things for a friend, you help them. Sometimes being brave means being like the friend who was paralyzed by sharing your own story and asking for what you need. And sometimes being brave means being like Jesus by fully seeing and accepting a person. Wow. Being brave means to just see somebody and accept who they are. Wow, that's a good story. That's giving me a lot to think about tonight. That's giving me a lot. In my mind's eye, I'm trying to imagine that big hole in the roof and them lowering down their friend who couldn't walk. And then Jesus telling him to get up, take his mat and go home. And he was walking. Wow. Isn't that a wow? That deserves a wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a wow moment. So now what I want you to do is tell the grown-up in the room, page number 52. Page number 52 goes with this story. So up here at the top, there's some questions that they can ask you, like what does it mean to be brave, and how does it feel to be brave, and who in the story was brave for you. Then there's some things to imagine together. Can you imagine what the friends felt like for the friend who was paralyzed? I mean, did they feel sorry for him because he couldn't walk? Or what about the owner of the house when they saw that big hole being cut in their roof? How did he feel? So those are some things that you and your grown-ups can imagine with. And in the bottom, there is a color sheet that says to the neighbors, and that we can always feel compassion to our neighbors. Now, in this picture, this was a little bit different. It doesn't really go with that story because our friend was not in the wheelchair, and they weren't, they were in a town they were going where a lot of people were. But to the neighbor, and that's what they did. They felt compassion to their neighbor and helped him get to Jesus and get to see him. And he was healed. Isn't that awesome? Y'all, I tell you what, these stories just get more exciting and more exciting. Next time, I have another story for you, and it's about oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm not going to tell you this time. I'm going to wait until we get together again. Are you having fun with Bible school? I know it's a lot different this time with you being at home and us being in our places, but I hope you're having fun, and I hope you're learning a lot of things. I can't wait to see you next week with our next story. Bye.